Hey everyone, it's Stranger Grayson here. Welcome back to another horror movie review. Today, we will be continuing the Halloween franchise, and this is a movie that many people consider one of the best in the franchise because it rebooted the timeline a little bit, not all the way, but it skipped over parts 4, 5, and 6. And that is Halloween H20 20 years later. Now, this came in a 3-pack film set that included The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween H20, and Resurrection. And Resurrection will be the one we were talking about today. I don't have it on Blu-ray, unfortunately. I plan on getting that soon, but for now, this will just have to do. So, after the events of, Curse of Michael Myers didn't do so well at the box office, they knew they needed to go either a different strategy or continue and try to make it better. So their original plan was just to have a direct-to-video sequel that followed after the events of Curse. Now, of course, that plan fell through because everybody knew a direct-to-video Halloween movie would not do great. So one of the Akkads, I don't know which one, suggested that they move to a branched timeline, so they would reboot the timeline, skip over parts 4, 5, and 6, which was a good thing. So for H20, they skip over 4, 5, and 6, and they bring back Laurie Strode, the Laurie Strode family tree and stuff like that. So H20, what is it about? H20 opens up with Nurse Marion Chambers. She has been taking care of Dr. Loomis ever since the events of Part 2 happened. He somehow survived the blast, which is kind of weird. Now, of course, Donald Pleasance did not come back for this movie because he unfortunately passed away during production of Curse, and Curse would have been his last movie to ever be in before he died. So they, of course, did not get him back. Instead, they just mentioned that he died off screen like 3 years before the movie took place. And Marion Chambers is now living alone, but she still hasn't cleaned out Dr. Loomis's room yet. Unbeknownst to her, Michael has tracked her down, and right at the beginning, she gets killed off along with 2 other kids. And Michael broke into her house to find out where Laurie Strode was living all these years because she had classified documents. So we cut to Laurie Strode, who has now been called Carrie Tate because she wanted to change her names. She faked her death and moved to a whole nother state and changed her name because she wanted to forget about Michael. She wanted to not be a part of the Strode family. She was scared that Michael would come after her because they never found his body at the end of Part 2. And she's having constant nightmares and, just spooks. Now, turns out she has a son named John Tate. Now, I'm not sure if that's a reference to John Carpenter or not. I'm going to assume it is, but you guys can correct me down in the comments. I'm not sure. But John has turned 17 in this movie, and he's had to deal with his mom's night terrors and nightmares and all of her warnings about Michael Myers constantly, and he's sick and tired of it. He goes to a school that his mom works at, and his mom is actually one of his teachers. And he is wanting to not go on the camp trip because he wants to stay behind with his girlfriend and his 2 other buddies. But unbeknownst to them, Michael Myers has tracked down where Laurie Strode is and her real name. And of course, Laurie Strode, being the paranormal woman that she is, or Carrie Tate, has been living in constant fear, and she knew this day would come. Then, let's just say when Michael shows up, things go awry. Halloween H20 was a movie that really did bring this series back to life because the series had been dead for 3 years. This was around the Scream era. Scream had released a year earlier, I believe. It either released the same year or the year before. I'm pretty sure it was the year before. And you can definitely tell it tries to take traits from that movie. You can tell it was kind of set in that style, you know, the cheesy stuff. The movie was actually a little shorter than I realized. Let me see how long it was. It was 89 minutes, so not even an hour and a half. Yeah, that's crazy. The movie did seem short, but it was very good for what it was. Of course, Jamie Lee Curtis comes back to play Laurie Strode again. I believe she wanted to come back to finish off the character and the Michael franchise, you know, for good. Of course, that didn't happen because we got Resurrection, but we will talk about Resurrection later. LL Cool J is actually in this movie. He plays a security guard. And I gotta say, he has some of the funniest bits in this movie. It was just very funny, you know, him talking to his wife in the movie, and just the bits with him in it were probably some of the funniest parts I've seen in any Halloween movie. Laurie's son, John, he was an okay character. He wasn't really my favorite side character, per se, but he definitely was one of the better ones. Definitely better than Halloween 5. Nothing can beat Halloween 5. And Halloween 6 was definitely better than Halloween 6. The kill count was definitely less in this movie than I believe Halloween 6 and 5 were. You can tell they tried to go back to the original Halloween-ish type of thing where there was less blood, less kills. You know, it was more about the atmosphere and setting. But there definitely were some flaws with this movie. And the main flaw is Michael Myers' mask. Now, if you didn't know already, Michael Myers' mask has definitely changed throughout the years. They could never decide on a mask. Especially in this movie, they could not decide on a mask because there's like 3 or 4 different masks that they had been choosing from. And the one they settled on was very weird. Like, he had spiky, frizzy hair and his eyes were open like this. It looked stupid. And there's even a scene where they used a freaking CGI mask. CGI mask. Like, are you serious? Like, why a CGI mask? It looks stupid. Apparently, like, they were trying to save money or something. Or the mask that they were using before had screwed up, so they tried covering it up with CGI. It did not work whatsoever. It looked very stupid. However, the ending to this movie was probably one of the best endings I've ever seen in a Halloween movie. And it's sad that Resurrection ruined it. From what I hear, Resurrection had ruined it. And that's a shame because if they had just ended the franchise right here, then this without a doubt would have been probably the best sequel, or one of the best sequels in the franchise. Definitely would have been top 3. It's probably in my top 5 right now. But this definitely would have made a good end to the Halloween franchise. But sadly, of course, that didn't happen because once you make money on a movie, you're going to want to make a sequel. However, besides that, there were some other flaws. I did not really enjoy some of the side characters, especially the beginning, the 2 guys. It just felt like they just used them to kill them off. And then there were a couple off-screen kills that I didn't really like. It was very stupid. But the guy who plays Michael Myers, I thought he did an alright job. I personally prefer Nick Castle and the guy from Part 2. I don't know his name, but I definitely prefer the original 2 Michael Myers people. But that's not to say this movie's bad. This is definitely a movie I would recommend. It is one of the better sequels in this era, and it's probably one of my favorites out of the franchise. So, that has been my review on Halloween H20 20 years later. By the way, bless me. H20, stupid title. So, Halloween 20 years later. Stupid title. But, not a bad movie. Really, really good movie. Probably one of the better sequels. I apologize for sounding a little weird. I think I've got allergies acted up. I got a stuffy nose, but that's really about it. I should be able to get reviews out for you guys. So, anyway, that has been my review on Halloween H20 20 years later. Really good film. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it about an 8 or 8.5. It was actually really good. I definitely enjoyed this. But what is everyone's thoughts on H2O? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. God bless, and have a good day. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving to all you guys out there. Bye, everyone. God bless.